And Jaire, this is Dave, and today I wanted to look at the Homeric hymn to Hermes, a delightful little epic poem that I studied in college. And this is although it is not one of the, lengthy epics like the Iliad or the Odyssey, it is written in the same verse and it's called dactylic hexameter. Okay, and it's basically uh, uh, six units in each line, right? And they are either dactyls, which is da da da, or spondes, which is two longs, da da. Um, and the last of the six, though, is always just two syllables. So it's either long short or long long. So let me just give you an idea here before we read through the whole thing. This first line here. Hermen hum ne musadios kai maiados huion. Okay, you can sort of get a feel for it. You get a better feel as we go and read through all of this in the Greek. But if you are interested in learning ancient Greek or Latin, you can find all the information you need to contact me as a tutor in the video description. It's something that I do in my spare time on nights and weekends because I love these ancient languages. And whether you're a student who's struggling or you are just an adult who wants to learn something new, I can help you out probably. Okay, so the Homeric hymn to Hermes, this top here, East Hermes, to Hermes. Okay, Hermes is the messenger god, Mercury in the Roman pantheon. And the first thing we'll do here, just to give it a bit of an idea about how epic poetry is done. It is widely believed that in the archaic period, so we're talking, 8th through or maybe ninth through 6th centuries. Probably I'm getting that wrong, but this is before the classical period. This is before kind of the glory days of Aristotle and Plato and Socrates and all that. You would have, and the playwrights and all that, that you had these epic poets who they would basically from memory, but not entirely. It's not that they would memorize thousands of lines. It is that they could put them together on the fly in perfect meter. And part of what they would do is they would have certain kind of set piece phrases, okay, that fit the meter. So just to give an idea, looking at this, there's at least one of these here. Here we go. So you see here down at the second to last line, this is just one example of many, but okay, so Heren is who this is referring to, not Hermes, but Hera, Juno, right? The wife of Zeus. We'll see why she's in here later, but Leukolenon Heren, okay? So if you are reciting a verse of dactylic hexameter poetry, this can fit very neatly into it, depending on what has come before. So if we look at this whole line here, this is actually one of the harder ones in this reading, so let's see if I get it right. Opfrakata glucus hupnosechoi leukolenon heren. See, it just kind of fits in there seamlessly. And there are all kinds of words and phrases like this used to describe characters. If you've ever read the Iliad and you say, well, why do they keep calling him, whatever translation they use, wily Odysseus? Why do they keep calling him wily over and over? It's because in the meter, in the original Greek, it fits perfectly, right? Another example for Hector, they would always call him Hector with the shining helmet, and the word for that, korutaios Hector, if I remember correctly, and that fits the meter perfectly, and that's why you keep getting those. And so basically, if you were a good bard, you could go on for hundreds or thousands of lines without making a single mistake. You weren't reading from a text. You weren't memorizing the entire thing. You were just telling the story, but you were telling it in perfect verse, kind of putting it together on the fly, which is honestly, I think, a lot more impressive than memorizing something even. And so anyway, now that I've spent 5 minutes explaining that, I think it's really important though to understand what this kind of poetry is really all about. And why don't we go ahead and just read through it in Greek first, and then no, maybe we'll just do a line or two, and then come back and do the rest later, since we're already going kind of long here. So starting from the top here. Hermen humne musa dios kai maiodos huion, kulenes medionta kai arcadies polumelu, angelon athanaton eriunion honteke maia, nomfe euplokamos diosen piloteti migesa, aidoie macaron de theon eleu atomilon, anthronesonaiusa paliscion entam chronion, numpe euplocamo misgesceto nuctos amolgo, ophracata glucus hupno, glucus hupno, ophracata glucus hupnosecoi leucholenon heren, leton athanatus tetheus netus tanthropus. Okay, so clearly I'm not going to be a great bard or anything like that. Can barely read the stuff off the page, but you sort of get a sense of how the meter sounds. It has a very distinctive sound. The verses don't have to be identical to one another. You'll have verses where it's all dactyls or it's all spondes, the long or the short long short, right? But there's this sort of variability to it. It's very flexible, and there are only a couple of structures that you can never fit into a line of this kind of poetry. Specifically, if you have long short long, that never works. I believe that is called a cretic. So you have to figure out a way to avoid busting the meter if you're one of these bards composing. But anyway, so how do we translate the first few lines of this? Okay, so Hermen humne musa. So this is humne, sing, like a hymn, right? So sing muse, musa, of Hermes. Sing muse of Hermes, Dios kai maiodos huion. Huion is the son of Dios, Zeus, and Maya. Okay. Kulenes medeonta kai arcadies polumelu. The medeonta, the guardian, the ruler, the lord of Kulene. This is a mountain, so the lord of Mount Kulene. Kai arcadies polumelu, and of Arcadia, but this is a polumelu. You see how this fits the meter nicely, right? Arcadies polumelu. This word is sort of just shows you there's an ancient Greek word for everything. It means like much sheeped, as in like there are many sheep there, right? So Arcadia of the many sheep, or with the many sheep. Okay. So the Lord of Mount Culini and of much sheeped Arcadia. Okay, and then angelon athanaton eriunion. So angelos, you've probably heard of this word because it's angel, but it's the messenger. Eriunion, and this word is another one of these poetic words that's here to fit the meter, and it means like the bringer of good luck. Okay, so he is the or the good luck bringing messenger of the Athanaton, of the immortals, the deathless ones, the gods, in other words. Hon teke Maya, whom Maya bore. Okay, you might remember that the verb here, the word comes from the verb tikto, but you might remember that one of our vocab words in our stack is tekontes, right? Or the parents. And this is basically where that comes from, is this verb. So whom Maya bore. And then it starts to describe Maya, okay? Num fe euplokamos. So again, here we have a nice word that fits the meter. The well, or the fair-haired, or the it doesn't necessarily mean like her hair was blonde, but it means like she has great hair, right? The great-haired nymph. Okay, so whom Maya, the nymph with great hair, gave birth to. Okay. Dios en philoteti migesa, okay, mingling in companionship, friendship, the friendship of Zeus, and the and Idoie, which a couple possible meanings. One of them is that she is shy, and that one actually probably makes the most sense. So just to go back through again, sing, O Muse of Hermes, the son of Zeus and Maia, the protector of Mount Culene and of Arcadia of the many sheep, the good luck bringing messenger of the immortals, whom Maia, the fair haired nymph, bore. Um, Having mingled or mingling, right, in the friendship of Zeus. Um, and you have to add that she's shy, right? That she idoie, um, which we'll get to in the next one, I think. So because it's been 11 minutes now. So anyway, fun little poem here that tells a story. It's not super long, so we'll do a few more installments of it. I think if you've noticed the vocabulary words leading up to this, we've had a lot of the words in here. So we'll spend some time on it. And if you are interested in learning this kind of poetry, learning more about ancient Greek or Latin, get in touch with me. Till next time, Wale.